Hi, what's up, guys? I hope that all of you always happy and always smiling. Now, welcome back to my video. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Wilton Goh. I'm now on semester 3 law in law faculty at University International Batam. My campus located in Batam Island, one of Indonesia islands. Batam Island is located in international sea which near to neighbor country like Singapore and Malaysia. As we know, Batam Island sometimes we will meet different regulation from other country. Because of the different regulation, sometimes we find difficulty to deal with foreign relationship like business relation, marriage, divorce, will, succession, and judgments. So, to solve the problem of differential regulation, we need regulation that call it private international law. In this video, I will focus to explain about cognitive factors specific on Lex Loci Contractus. But first, I will explain what is connecting factors. Okay, let's start. Connecting factors are the circumstances that make a link X between events, things, transaction, person, and country. Such factors like person, events, etc. to country. Okay, these elements links dispute to particular countries are connecting factors links between events, things, transaction, person, and country. Such factor like person, events to country. Okay. Next, connecting factors enable courts to identify applicable law. That means choice of law rule may say titles to improve able property governments by law of country where land situated. They determine under which system of law and within the jurisdictions of which country's courts certain issues are to be determined. This element links dispute to particular country are connecting factors. Also, connecting factors connect legal categories to applicable laws. Moreover, connecting factors explicate some outstanding fact which establish natural connection between factual situation before courts and particular system of law. Connecting factors also principle of private international law that always found on private international dispute. So this is important lesson for you to know about more private international so you can deal with any relation to other country citizen like marriage, business, will, succession, divorce, and judgment. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to comment in the comment section. I will try to answer it, okay? Okay, we back to the topic. Based on traditional approach, progress to solve a private international dispute actually start from evaluation toward primary connecting factors. And then through the qualification process, reuse the concept of the connecting factors as secondary connecting factors in order to choice of law will be used to the private international dispute. When there is a dispute, so we need to find out the connecting factors, which we call it primary connecting factors to know it is a private international dispute or not. And then we do analyze through the connecting factors again, which we call it secondary connector factor to choice of law of to use it. Okay. Now I will explain what is primary connecting factors. Primary connecting factors is factors of the circumstance or fact born from private international relations. So this connector is the main connector to define the dispute belong to private international law. These connecting factors consist of 1. Nationality. Nationality is called private international dispute Of course, it has two or more parties from different country. Example, an Indonesian marriage with an Australian, or an Indonesian transaction with a Indo, in, or an Indonesian transaction with a Singaporean. Okay. Two, ship flag or plane flag or vessel flag. This seen from the flag of ship and aircraft to get a determination of which country and which law will be used. Example, this legal action occur or are carried out by individual aboard ship or aircraft, such as binding international business contract. Well, so there you can know that sign the contract where by looking at the flag of the ship and the airplane or aircraft or the vessel. Okay. Another example, the ship or aircraft that is the object of the dispute. Well, it can be seen from the flag, including which country and what law will be used. 3. Domicile. Domicile can also be important factors in determining a international civil dispute. An example of a Indonesian citizen like me, Wilton, who is domiciled in Australia, marry a Indonesian citizen, like her name is Beautiful, who lives in Singapore. So you can see the domicile of me, Wilton, is in Australia. Then another one, my partner called Beautiful, lives in Singapore. So her domicile in Singapore. Okay, so there is used to use the domicile to know how to determining international civil dispute. 4. Plans of residence. Example, two Malaysians who residence temporarily in Indonesia want him to work temporarily or on vacation or deliberately hold a marriage in Indonesia. This is the example. There is two Malaysia. Okay, they temporarily live in Indonesia or temporarily work in Malaysia. That is called plans of residence. 5. Domicile of legal entity. Legal entities as legal subject also have nationality and legal seat. Generally, the nationality of a legal entity is determined by the plans or country where the establishment of the legal entity is registered. Example, PT Indo Kohonindo, PT Indo Kohindo, okay, a joint venture company between several Japanese and Indonesian entrepreneurs. This company is established under Indonesian law and is domiciled in Jakarta, Indonesia. Okay, Jakarta is in Indonesia. Thus the legal status of the company is Indonesian legal entity. So there is the legal status. The company is a Indonesian legal entity. Okay, of like the PT. Simple, I can explain that PT Indo Kohindo is Indonesian legal entity. Okay, another example, Homing Co. Ltd. Right, Homing Co. Limited, a joint venture company between Indonesia and Singapore and entrepreneurs established and domiciled in Singapore. The relevant companies is incorporated in Singapore. Likewise, a company that was founded by a number of entrepreneurs who are Indonesian citizens established a company in Hong Kong because it was founded and operated in Hong Kong. The company must comply with Hong Kong law. Okay. 6. Choice of internal law. Explain what is meant by the choice of internal law. by using a sample. Okay, can we be given as follow? Indonesian citizen is Jakarta enter into a sell and process transaction for material good of a factory whose delivers take a long time and the goods are imported from the UK. In the sell and process contract, it is stated that the sell and process agreement is governed by English law because of the legal choice by the parties who close the sell and process contract in the direction of the law that differ from national. They will give birth to a private international law. Okay. Next, I will explain what a secondary connecting factors is. These secondary connecting factors will be used to determine which law will be used to resolve international civil dispute based on analysis of the primary connecting factors. These secondary connecting factors are many, but I'm only test to explain specifically the secondary connecting factors where the contract is signed. Like at the first of the video, Lex Loci Contractus. If you want to know more about other secondary connecting factors, you can visit the videos of my other friends. If I explain everything through this video, the video will be long and my grade will be cut off by my beloved lecturers. Oh yes, don't forget to like it. Then if you have any question, don't hesitate to just hit it the comments. I will answer it guys related to the private international which I discuss or not discusses in this video. But first I need to apologize to all of you. I am also still learning. If there is something missing, please forgive me. Okay, let's continue. There are many other secondary connecting factors like Lex Situs, Lex Loci Actus, Lex Loci Celebrationis, Lex Loci Solutionis, and many others. Confused right? With the word language, so you also need to watch my other friends video about the another secondary connecting factors. I will discuss about Lex Loci Contractus. What is this Lex Loci Contractus? This principle is the oldest principle which is based on the locus legit actum principle, which means the law from the place where the legal act was carried out. So this principle stipulates that the agreements involving parties from different countries apply the law of the plans of agreements. Based on this principle, the proper law of contract is the law of the plans of making the contract. What is meant by plans of contracting in the context of private international law is the plans where the last act required from the agreement to be formed. In modern times, this theory seems to be inadequate, especially when associated with contract entered into between parties who are not confronting each other. More and more contracts are made with the help of modern communication facilities such as telegram, fax-similar, making locus contractor determination difficult. Okay, and nowadays there is so many contract that signed by email or telegram or anything else like anything like the communicating device like that. The cost at the modern times declined to apply the Lex Loci Contractus principle. However, it still has some signification as it is one of the factors to consider while determining proper law. Amongst the factors that a court will take into consideration in determining the system of law that has the close and most clear connection are: 1. Where the contract was concluded. 2. The plans of performance of the contract. 3. Lex domicile. 4. The plans of integration of the incorporate bodies to the contract. 5. Plans where any securities is to be taken or enforced. 6. Whether the contract is linked with any other contract that contain a choice of law. 7. The currency used. 8. The morax. The morax is like if the contract contains such provision. The provision like there is the contract like the Lex Loci solution. Okay. So we continue. The principle can still be used to establish the law applicable to transaction and agreement made at international trade fairs, in the sense that the legal system of the venue for the fair can be considered the proper law of the contract. Case example: legal settlement of a dispute concerning a business contract can be settled based on where the contract was signed, like PT Pembangunan Jaya Abadi enter into an export-import agreement with Homing Co. Ltd. Singapore. Homing is Singapore company. Okay, the contract was signed in Jakarta. If based on the Lex Loci Contractus, then the law applicable to the agreement is Indonesian law because it's signed at Jakarta. Okay, if the agreement is implement in Singapore and the connecting factors used is Lex Loci solution is, then what applies to the contract is Singapore law. If in an international trade contract there are 20 legal choice, then the law applicable to the contract must be law chosen and agreed by the parties, like PT Pembangunan Jaya Abadi enter into a export-import agreement with Homing Co. Ltd. In the contract there is a clause if there is a dispute concerning the interpretation and implementation of this contract, then the settlement is based on Singapore. So Singapore law is the law chosen by the parties. Like I say, if in the contract there is a clause but they agree by the parties, it called Lex Loci solutions. Okay. Another case example: if their vessel owned by Indonesian citizen but registered in another country, the ship concerned is a foreign nationality. If ship belonging to a legal entity or an Indonesian citizen of Bermuda nationality charge more tax on a ship with credit through a bank in Indonesia, then the more tax must be made in Bermuda in accordance with Bermuda law. So, in contract law, the issue of diversity crops up when a contract is entered into one state and its effect occur in another state. The doctrine Lex Loci Contractus guide courts exercising diversity jurisdiction. It generally means that the law of the plans where a contract was entered into should be applied to decide any issue arising out of the contract. Occasionally, courts also use the phrase to mean the law by which a contract is to be governed. The parties to a contract can specify the state that will decide any issue relating to the contract. Sorry. In the absence of such a clause, it is the basic rule of contract that the law of the plans where a contract is entered into will govern any issue arising out of the contract. In other words, under the doctrine of Lex Loci Contractus, absent a contractual choice of law provision, a contract will be governed by the law of the state where the last act necessary to complete the contract is done. However, if the law of the state where a contract was entered into is contradictory to the foreign state public policy, the foreign law will not be applicable. Okay, some states have internal law that restrict the application of the Lex Loci Contractus. For example, in Georgia, the application of the foreign law is limited to status and decision construing those status. Thus, if no status is involved, Georgia courts will apply local law and not foreign law. Okay, let me explain in some case. Vita food products versus Yunus Shipping Co. Limited. Case concern the liability of the respondent, a company from Nova Scotia, under certain bill of lading issues in Newfoundland. The bills of lading contain an express choice of English law. The crucial question was determining which law governed the respondent's liability for the damage of the cargo. Under the law of the plans of contracting, the law of Newfoundland, the bills of lading were null and void because they were not issued in accordance with the law of Newfoundland. In the law of the Newfoundland, carriers of goods by CX 1932. Okay, carriers of goods by CX 1932. Under the English Popular Law, the bill of lading were held to be valid and liability was thus to be determined by the exception clause contained in the bill. The courts disregard the mandatory rules of the law of Newfoundland as Lex Loci Contractus because the proper law of the contract was English law, and the bills of lading were valid according to English law. Another case sample, Bishop and others vs. Conran and others, concerns a wagering contract that was illegal in terms of the law of the plans where is concluded. The plans of the law is the Transvaal because of a prohibition of the lotteries and the sales or disposal of lottery tickets. The contract however, was valid and legal under its popular law. The popular law is Rosdensian law. The courts held that prohibition did not have extraterritorial effect, and the contract was enforced by the South Africa courts. The dictum has been interpreted as support for the propositions that illegality under the Lex Loci Contractus is irrelevant. It is questionable, however, whether one should go so far, although the courts refer to the Lex Loci Contractus. It cannot be overlooked that the Lex Loci Contractus was also the Lex Fori, and that the Transvaal Statute was a statutory prohibition of the forum state. The court reached its conclusion by interpreting the statute and held that in the absence of a clear contrary intention, a statute does not have extraterritorial effect if it's applied to acts committed but beyond the limit of the legislator's jurisdiction. Okay. Let me explain some interesting example case. The Southern District of Florida recently issued an opinion that addressed some rarely discussed nuances of insurance choice of law dispute between Sun Capital Partners versus Twin City Fire Company. Okay, in Sun Capital, the insurance renew a primary professional liability policy from Houston Casualty Company and follow from excess policy from Twin City Fire Insurance Company. To renew the excess policy, the insurance broker email Twin City underwriter, please consider this email as the formal order to bind coverage for Sun Capital Renewal GPL coverage. Under respondent from this office in New York with an email stating, we are pleased to provide you with the following binder for insurance, and attaching a binder. In the ensuing coverage litigation, the insurers filed a motion for choice of law determination and contend that Florida law govern its policy. In response, the insured city New York law, the courts note that Florida forum applied the Lex Loci Contractus choice of law rule. Okay, the courts note that Florida forum applied the Lex Loci Contractus choice of law rule. Applying the rule, the courts conclude that the last act necessary to create an insurance contract occurred in New York. When the insurer's agent accept plaintiff again former offer to bind coverage. The court acknowledged a long list of cases cited by the insurer in which the state of delivery was controlling in a Lex Loci Contractus conflict analysis, but note that many of those rulings state only that the plans of delivery can be controlling to the last act inquiry. In this particular case, the court ruled that the insurer transmission of its acceptancy was the last act forming the policy. The courts also explained that the primary policy, which the access policy in dispute followed, was clearly governed by New York law. Insurance litigation tactician can take 6 lessons from this ruling. 1. Even in Lex Loci Contractus that the delivery address on the declaration page does not necessarily control the choice of law and analysis. When a dispute involves a renewal policy, delivery is less relevant because the terms of the contract have already been agreed by the parties. When the dispute involves a broker, every step in the chain of communication should be considered as the last act to form the contract. In case involving access policy, there is authority supporting application of the state law governing the primary policy, arguable applicable even if that will be a different state from where the access policy was finalized. A motion for choice of law determination can be a helpful tactic, particularly in claiming involving uncertainty when time is of the essence. Most importantly, insurers should be agreed to litigate choice of law battles without fact-intensive discovery. The case concerned with the substantiation of the contract are likewise easily explainable in terms of intent or of proper law of the contract theory. Chief Justice Marshall recognition of the intent theory through dictum marked the way for the latter case. That theory was especially referred to in Cox versus United States and in Liverpool and Great Leicester Steam and Great Leicester Steam Company versus Penny Insurance Company, both establishing presumption in favor of the Lex Loci Contractus, which was applied in the Liverpool case. The ground of decision in that case was, however, not so much the presumption as the fact that the contract had their center of gravity in New York. The plans of contracting in the COTS case, however, the presumption was overcome because the connection with the plans of performance was much stronger. In view of the court's reference to the intent theory, it is difficult to understand Professor Bell's comment that the rules of the case is, of course, that the law of the plans of the performance strictly govern the validity of a contract. Okay, that's all for this video. I hope you like it and learn something from this video, and please support me with some likes and subscribe. Sorry for my poor English language, and I not usually use English language like this formally. Okay, thank you so much. See you in other videos. Bye.